Appreciate everybody being here. This time of the year, probably about a month ago, it seemed like it would never get here. Now it seems like the hours, minutes, seconds are moving so fast we can't keep up. But our kids are ready. We have one last scrimmage to play before the regular season gets here. I think they're tired of beating up on each other. So that'll give us a chance to measure where we are. With this group coming in, as you guys know, there's so many new faces, 10 new faces. One of the things that our focus has been is creating habits for those young ladies, having them turn in daily at first, then weekly habits that they can focus on. Because regardless of what the adversity is, be it another opponent, be it the weather, whatever it is, when you hit adversity, you naturally go back to instincts, and those instincts are generally your habits. So that's what we focused on a ton as our foundation, and then getting into the X's and O's of it, skill development, getting in the gym, shooting, putting in our game plan, which we have some shooters. Right now I call them shooters because I got to make sure they're makers as well. But we got some kids that are talented that can shoot the ball, that'll open it up on the inside for my 6'5" and 6'4" to try to do some damage down there. Yes, we are young, but we're experienced. Now we have to get ready to see what the experience is like as we prepare for the Missouri Valley in this non-conference. But I'm fired up. We're further along defensively than we are offensively, and I like that because the positives we did on offense last year were a direct result of our defense. So we're ready to cause some chaos. We're ready to disrupt a little bit, and that's where we are right now. So, questions?
Obviously, year three, those are kind of a big year in terms of coaching and milestones and everything.
Yeah.
First 2 years, I know probably didn't go exactly the way you hoped they would. What has you feeling confident heading into year three about taking that next step?
You got to be able to adjust. 2 years ago, the coaching landscape changed. Every coach in this conference, with the exception of one, pretty much has a brand new roster, and that's unheard of. So every year we've been here, we've had almost a different roster. But it's happening nationally, so you can't complain about it. But in year three, what I just talked about, those habits, the foundation of the program are built. The young ladies that we recruited here, we didn't have to talk about theory. We could talk about, hey, this is what we do. Here are the things that we can hang our hat on. 3-point percentage defense, steals. This is how we're going to play. So they had a vision of it, and now adding on to that, you just want to build off of it. Now that you've set, hey, this is what we want to do. Offensively, yeah, we tinker to the talent that we have. But defensively, it's set in stone how we want to play and what Saluki basketball looks like.
How much daily improvement are you seeing from your ladies?
A little bit. A little bit as coaches. We're never satisfied this time of year, which I give my staff credit because we hold the standard. We hold the standard pretty high for them, but what I'm seeing is the chemistry improve a little bit. Certain reads off of pick and rolls are improving a little bit more. The rotations on defense are there because trust is being built, which with so many new faces, you have to rely on the trust. They got to know that coach is asking me to play this way, and you know what? I might get beat, but if I get beat, I got people backing me up. And so really just focusing on removing that individual and understanding that the team concept is what's going to get us through.
Where is this team in terms of that trust at this stage of the preseason as opposed to maybe where your first two teams were?
Yeah, developmental at best, right now, just because we need that experience. Who we've got, I know it's a private scrimmage, but who we've scheduled is really doggone good. So we're looking forward to getting that punch in the mouth to see how we respond to it. Yeah, we want to dictate, but we know that we're about to play a veteran ball club that has everybody coming back from an NIT tournament run. So that's what's going to let us know where that trust is. Like I was saying with Jake, we see it building. We see it building and building, but you really don't know until, you're actually in those trenches, and we're going to get the first taste of that this weekend.
How big was it to get Janiyah to come back? Obviously, you were here when she was here originally, but
yeah.
Big star in Carterville, big star in Logan. For her just to have the opportunity to finish her college career at Southern and try to make that star even bigger in Southern Illinois?
Yeah, I was about a week late in accepting the job, but I did get Janiyah on the phone when I first took the job. I met with Coach Stein. I knew she was available, and Janiyah at that point just thought she needed to get away from home, and I understood that as well. But getting her back here and talking to her coach, Terry Nooner, over at Wichita, which I knew him very well, he talked about, hey, I wanted to keep her. It was just, I thought she was going overseas. It was just a scholarship number, but she wanted to return. So at that point, we stepped in, and I think the pleasant surprise is the maturation process that's happened through there. She's been through some things. She's seen some things. She has been a steady force from us from the moment she walked through the door, and it helps that she can shoot that dang thing. So that helps a lot, but I'm just proud of her. Grandparents are almost in every practice cheering her on, and I love that for the kid because she's embracing being home. And it's something about representing what's across your chest, and she takes that to heart, and she encourages our kids and talks to our kids about what this community is about and what they will do to fall behind you, just like they did with that Carterville run.
What kind of team can this be in terms of shooting the basketball as compared to last year? It seemed like obviously hitting perimeter shots was just more times.
Yeah.
Where is this team in relation to that?
You know, on video when we brought them in, and being in the stands with some of these transfers that we got, like we just talked about, Janiyah, we know what their percentages have been. And as you know, completely different level, right? So that's what I mean when I said I got to get some makers. When we're doing our green light shooting, those kids look awesome, you know, shooting that dang ball. But how are they with our men's practice team rushing at them? They've been battling this men's practice team since the beginning. And so their confidence wavered a little bit because the guys are a little bigger, faster, stronger, running us off their spots. I'm hoping going against that every day, the game is a little bit slower, you know, when we play it, and they can get a little comfortable getting into their shooting rhythm. But we have some kids that can potentially shoot the heck out of the basketball, and I'm hoping that opens up the floor for us. But yes, it was a struggle sometimes looking for a basket, and that's why we're not going to change. I mean, having our defense create some opportunities for us to run and get open, but we've been practicing that one more, meaning swing it one more time to get a great shot versus a good shot. And that's what we're focused on now, and hopefully we're not rushing our shot because we make that one more pass to the wide open person versus the contested that we took a lot last year.
You got more height this year too. I mean, how much can that help what you're trying to do, particularly in terms of being able to dictate on the defensive end?
Yeah, I love the more height, obviously. We got back down quite a bit in the latter half of conference play. I just got to make sure that height has the same heart as some of our smaller statured kids last year because they led us defensively. That was something that we focused on. We were very intentional on who we were recruiting because deflections are big for us. This is an offensive conference. There's some pretty basketball played in this conference. So for us to protect us inside, we have to be able to get deflections to mess up teams' timing. And that's what we're looking for in that length in terms of being able just to disrupt a little bit to knock people off from getting that perfect pass or to knock them off from seeing the backdoor cut that we might experience.
You talked about your first opponent, Auburn, being an NIT game and everything. What are you hoping to gain from that game? Obviously a win, but are you hoping to find just how much chemistry, how well the team is gelling at this point?
Yeah, Auburn was a game that we got that we had to go find a game at the end of season due to some drops, and we were asked to get, you know, a money game in that regard. So at that time you had probably Auburn, I think Texas, who's going to be in the top 3 in the country, Oklahoma, who I just got a transfer from, and then Auburn, who I know very well, both Texas and Auburn I know very well. What I was looking at Auburn is they play a similar style as us. How I picked out who we were going to play, they play a similar style. They're tough-minded, defense-first oriented. They're probably going to be on the line, up the line against us. They're going to try to spread us out and attack. Our young ladies will probably not see that type of defense. They will probably not see that type of team in our conference. But that's who we are trying to be. So to head down there and look at that and play in that tough environment, which they should have an awesome crowd, you know, as well. I thought starting out, you know, that'll be a good test for us, a good barometer, if not of anything else but toughness. And that's what we're trying to develop with our young ladies. And then if we can go down there and steal one, that's always the opportunity that we're looking for.
I also wanted to ask about just getting Kayla. I know I asked about Janiyah, but also
Yeah.
getting Kayla because she's a sophomore. She was was highly recruited coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Just how big is it? That feels like a big building block for the program.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And like all of our young ladies, Kayla was a young lady she was looking for something specific. And we didn't talk a lot of basketball at first because I wanted to know what she wanted. Obviously, she's coming from a championship program. She could have stayed there. She could have thrived. I think they're going to compete in the SEC. This year is better than their football team right now. But I think what I was looking at from her is getting somebody that knew how we wanted to play. I knew how, even though that's not how they played, I knew she knew the system that I was running. She was somebody that was looking for a family environment, some people that she wanted to embrace these kids. That's what I'm most impressed with, man, is how our group has gelled. But from an offensive standpoint, I don't got to tell Kayla to attack. I don't have to tell her to shoot the ball. And coming in from the beginning, she brought that championship mindset to the team of telling our kids, hey, get your foot behind the line. Hey, this is how we do it. Hey, coach called us. We don't walk, we run, to the next person. So just that mindset has touched our kids. And just like cancer cells can, gather, that positive energy can gather too. And that's what's happened is it's been contagious and it's spread throughout the team. And man, I'm just trying not to mess it up and keep those kids in a good mindset.
I was going to ask too, we talked about this summer. How important is relationship building, and not just in terms of this team, but in the past when you had experiences with Kayla and obviously Janiyah, to be able to keep those relationships going, to have a chance to coach these kids this year?
Yeah.
How vital was that in helping build a program like this?
I think you always do. I think relationships are vital. Even when Janiyah, made the call to tell me she was going someplace else. Even when Kayla shifted someplace else when we were, in Texas in recruiting. How you treat people is something that they always remember. And in this day and age of the portal and, all this stuff, it's always going to be musical chairs at all these different programs. But even before that, you just treat people with respect. Hey, it's a business situation. Obviously, yes, we need you or need top players to help us continue to build, but at the same time, they have to do what's best for them and their families. And I respect that. I respect that. As much as it hurts when you lose a kid, I think you take the high road. I think you encourage them. And in this profession, in my experience, it always comes back to you, tenfold. So I think that helps. And I think my kids see, even my kids, people that didn't choose me, that I've supported them, written letters to them or their parents, it starts recruiting itself. And so people in the community reach out. Now we're starting to get localized folks around here, regional folks around here that understand, hey, it might not have paid off on the court, but dang, her kids are happy. Her kids are enjoying this. And that's how we got kids like Karis Allen this year, right from Sykeston, to come on over from Western Kentucky just because she saw what we were building.
As you said, there's a lot of new players this season. Have you had to adjust your coaching style in a way to adapt to this new team?
Yeah, not necessarily the coaching style, but slowing down and being intentional about our dictionary. So I do have a lot of, not just our international kids, but just new kids, and they're coming from all different programs. And even though it's basketball, we all call certain things different things. So making sure as coaches and staff, our language was the same. So we're not confusing them. Slowing down with stuff that I've been doing 27 years that I might just fly through, but I notice a face. And even though they're shaking their head, they understand. They don't understand. So for me, it's been slowing down to reach them on where they're at and slowly bringing them to know. But it's helped that all of us are speaking the same language and we're even passing out terminology pages, making sure they understand, what we're saying. It's just the adjustment we've had to make.
Do you feel you have enough leaders on this team? You have 5 that are juniors and or seniors or graduate like Janiyah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Kayla, but that would make it a total of 6 potential leaders. Do you think you have enough?
We do have a leadership council that we go back to those habits that we're trying to build. We go back to our summer and fall reading material of 21 Habits, How to Be a Great Teammate. You grab a few that you think have that potential. You rotate all of them in at certain times, so you're fostering that leadership. They're all feeling a piece of it. But I tell them every day, at any given moment, you have the opportunity to lead. I give them my experience. 25 years after winning a championship, I was brought back, and Coach called me up as a captain to get my captain's plaque. And I was like, Coach, I was never a captain, but I was a point guard, and I was a leader, even though I didn't have the little C on my chest. But that's how she remembered me. And that's what I tell these kids. You know what? The table can shift to you wherever you are when it's your moment and when you're prepared. So do I think we have enough? Excuse me. That'll depend on me. And how am I giving them enough? Am I planting the seeds for them to be extensions of me? Am I empowering them to feel comfortable in speaking up at that moment? And my staff is that next level. They do an incredible job but we'll see. We'll see, because again, we're 0-0. So I got a lot of leads, but I want to see what that looks like when adversity hits.
Last year you started the Breakfast Club. Any chance of bringing that back?
Well, that all depends on them. But honestly, we've started a different kind of breakfast club. Again, with so many new people, we have had some early morning things just to work on, plays just to help them, whether it's coming in for extra film or things like that. But when I tell you in terms of quality of life, this group has been excellent. I haven't had to chase them. We haven't had a missed study hall in about 2 months. We haven't had a missed meeting. We're hovering right around a 3.75 GPA based on the grades that are coming into me now. And I'm a firm believer. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And Lord, I'm praying it translates, because we got good kids. They work hard. And that's where I'm trying to get them, guys. I'm trying to keep them focused on the process. All of us want those W's. And I'm like, hey, the win will come if you stop focusing on win. Just do what you were supposed to do, create the habits, and the process is going to be there, and the score will take care of itself.